And a bit of a surprise, Kirk Cousins is still a member of the Falcons as minicamp gets underway this week. He's currently in the second year of a 4-year, $180 million contract, but is giving way to second-year QB Michael Penix Jr. as Atlanta's starter. Now, Cousins addressed the media on Tuesday about the state of his current situation.
You got to look forward and move forward, and I think that's what the perspective we got to have now is we're moving forward, and it's about how we as a team and this quarterback room can be the best we can be in 2025. Obviously, you'd love to play, but I'm not going to dwell on things that aren't reality in terms of that's not the situation I'm in. So it's better spent to be focused on the situation I'm in and controlling what you can control, and I think that's the right mindset to have.
What is your ideal scenario?
Well, I think right now it's about the situation I'm in and being the best I can, and hopefully in February we as an organization are holding up the Lombardi Trophy, and how we do that. It's just more important as a team we do that some way, somehow. So that's where the focus has to be, that we as an organization win a championship, and each one of us individually has to do our part in that to get there. Michael's going to do great. He's going to have a great career. He's off to a great start. He's got all the tangibles and intangibles you need to be successful, and I'm just here to support him as he needs it, but I also don't need to be I don't need to be in his ear so much that I'm sort of another voice. I just want to be a support as I can, and he knows that, and obviously we're in close proximity on the field and in meetings, so we have great conversations, and I can learn from him just like he can learn from me, and that's how a good quarterback room always should be.
Yeah, it's been really boring for me because it's been the same. It's been really consistent of it's what we talked about. I'm really comfortable with Kirk because of who he is, his character, the person. I don't worry about those things with Kirk because he's a man first, and he's going to go out and do whatever it takes for us to help his football team as long as he's with us, and he's with us. And it's been really less dramatic of a situation than it has been, I know, from an outside of the building standpoint.
Time now to welcome in CBS Sports NFL writer Tyler Sullivan. And Tyler, this is a different tune than what we heard in the offseason reports from Kirk. So do you really think he's going to be the backup QB for the Falcons for the entire year?
I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I think that at this point, like Kirk Cousins was saying, this is the reality. At this point, there was no realistic destination for him, especially in the aftermath of the Pittsburgh Steelers finally getting something done with Aaron Rodgers. There just wasn't a home that necessarily made sense for the Atlanta Falcons to trade him to, in where Kirk Cousins could be the full-time starting quarterback. Now, that can change. There's certainly the possibility of patience being a virtue for Kirk Cousins in the Atlanta Falcons, because we all know the NFL, it's a physical sport. We don't know the availability of some of these quarterbacks. Odds are someone's going to get injured. Someone is going to go down for the year with some sort of an injury, and then all of a sudden they become a suitor for Kirk Cousins. Maybe that team gets a little bit more desperate and is willing to pay a little bit of his salary and maybe give the Atlanta Falcons some capital in return, thus creating an avenue for him to leave Atlanta. But I will throw this caveat out here as well. As much as we're saying that it's clear-cut Michael Penix's job, and I believe that obviously it is, we still have a major question about what he's going to look like as a starting quarterback in the NFL. You look at the numbers, he completed 58.1% of his passes, had a passer rating in the high 70s. Now, the eye test would tell you he's a good starting quarterback, he's going to be good. But the numbers say something different. So something's lying. My suggestion is that what we saw on the field is what actually he's going to be. I think he's going to be a good starting quarterback in the league. But again, those numbers, it doesn't make it that concrete. You never know. Kirk Cousins could still find a way to start if things absolutely fall through with Michael Penix. So there's a lot of options here still on the table.
Absolutely. Small sample size, only 3 games as a starter, but he still has to prove himself. There is a reason why the Falcons drafted him where they did, but he has to show why they had the faith in him to draft him as high as they did. So it'll be really interesting to see how it all shakes out and whether Kirk Cousins will get another start as a Falcons quarterback, I should say. Now, as for players currently not in camp, Tyler, Bengals star defensive end Trey Hendrickson continued his holdout He's been on record as saying he would sit out the season if he doesn't get the contract he's looking for. And star QB Joe Burrow was asked about Hendrickson during minicamp on Tuesday.
Is Trey not being here, his deal not done, is that a distraction?
Of course. Last year we had 2, this year we have 1, so we do have less. You'd love to have none, but that's life in the NFL. We're all supporting Trey and would love for him to be back.
Tyler, we saw the situation last year, right, with Chase and Higgins, as Joe Burrow alluded to. It eventually got resolved, right, but they did not start out well when it comes to how their play looked to begin the year. If you are the Bengals, how concerned are you about not finding a resolution coming before the season for Hendrickson?
Yeah, I am 10 out of 10 concerned if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, and really because I thought going into this offseason that the Cincinnati Bengals probably should have, obviously you're signing Jamar Chase, right? He's the best wide receiver arguably in the NFL, just had the Triple Crown. I might have not have re-signed T. Higgins if it meant that I was securing Trey Hendrickson. I kind of was willing to make that sacrifice because what was the issue for the Cincinnati Bengals last season? Of course, it was a poor start to the year, but overall, it was poor play on the defensive side of the ball. Your bright spot, your only bright spot, was Trey Hendrickson. 17.5 sacks each of the last 2 seasons. Last year, led the NFL in sacks. And now we're talking about a Bengals team that may not have Trey Hendrickson in 2025. Meanwhile, the whole Shamar Stewart situation, their first-round pick, he still hasn't signed his rookie deal. I don't know if this team got better on the defensive side of the ball. Certainly, if you lose Trey Hendrickson, you got worse on the defensive side of the ball. So now you're asking Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins to what? Score 33 points on average per game just to keep up with the Joneses in the AFC and all those elite quarterbacks that they're going to have to face. It's a major, major concern with Trey Hendrickson right now.
Major concern, not just because of what he brings to the table, but we talked about it. The rookie, Shamar Stewart, they brought him in, okay, like if Hendrickson, if he doesn't play for us ever again, we got Shamar, we can build around him. And the fact that you have that situation is even more alarming in my eyes. Now, perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate TJ Watt also didn't report to minicamp for the Steelers due to a contract dispute. We know how impactful TJ Watt can be or is to this defense, Tyler. What should be the panic level for Pittsburgh?
I'd go about a 6 here. I'd be mildly concerned if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, honestly, I think that they should have gotten this done a long time ago because clearly TJ Watt is one of your fixtures, one of the better defensive players, one of the better players to wear your uniform in the franchise's history. And that's saying something for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not that long ago, you made him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL with this contract that's now running out. The longer you wait, the higher the price is going to be. Now, I don't think that TJ Watt is going to rival Myles Garrett to be the newest, highest paid defensive player in the NFL, topping $40 million per season. But I do think he's going to get in the range of Danielle Hunter, where it's $35 million per season in AAV. And that's costly for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They should have the cap space to do it. But again, I don't know why this didn't happen any sooner, because we just talked about another pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson. If he gets moved and signs a new deal somewhere else, or if the Cincinnati Bengals simply pay him, that's only going to bring TJ Watt's number up. But there's a guy in Dallas named Micah Parsons who could surpass Myles Garrett as the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. That will only increase TJ Watt's number, further complicating the matters for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the fact that they have Aaron Rodgers, they're telling us they're in a 1 to 2 year window. You want to have TJ Watt in the fold and happy in that window.
You definitely do, because if you don't have TJ Watt, right, then your defense takes a huge hit, and you talk about that 1 to 2 year window. You're not sure like how successful you're going to be without one of the best defensive players in the league. Now let's go down to the DMV with the Washington Commanders. Jane Daniels' #1 target, Terry McLaurin, he's also decided to not be present for minicamp because of contract issues. Where's the panic meter level for the Commanders in your eyes?
Yeah, I'd go a 4. I can't go 0 because he's not there, right? So you can't go, okay, it's totally fine. He's still happy, it's all good, but he's still not showing up because he wants a contract. So again, similar to TJ Watt, not as concerning. It's, it's under a 5, it's a 4. But again, you would love to have the player in-house gearing up for Jaden Daniels' second season in the NFL. The reason why I'm not overly concerned is we've seen this from Terry McLaurin in the past. When he was searching for his previous contract that's running out now, he skipped out on OTA, skipped out on minicamp. They ultimately were able to get something done. Now, this time around, I just think it's head-scratching, kind of similar to the TJ Watt situation. I'm surprised the Commanders haven't gotten out ahead of this, because you do have Jaden Daniels, an elite quarterback that was able to take you to the NFC Championship, playing on his rookie deal. You're going to have plenty of cap space in the NFL over the next few years to really cushion Terry McLaurin's contract number, even if it is, again, entering age 30 season. You never know what the production is going to look like down the road. But in the here and now, when he finally got elite quarterback play, he was once again over 1,000 yards, career high 70% catch rate when he was targeted, and of course, touchdowns. The dude was an absolute beast. This team has thrust open a Super Bowl window because of Jaden Daniels. And no, as they brought in Deebo Samuel, they brought in Laramie Tunsil. That's great. But what's going to help them get over the top is having that true number 1 guy for Daniels, which right now is Terry McLaurin.
And those 13 TDs, second best in the NFL behind Jamar Chase. Now, the Bills, they are happy to see James Cook participating at minicamp. Buffalo's star running back is seeking a long-term contract as well, but he's taking a different approach to achieving his goal. Here's Cook speaking to the media on Tuesday.
Why did you decide to come?
I like my money, do. I definitely do, but so that's why I'm here.
Why did you decide to fully participate?
I mean, why not? I'm here. I'm part of the team, and just not practicing with my leader, so it just got to practice and get the job done.
Do you plan to fully participate in training camp as well, James?
Yeah. It's my team, and in order not to win a Super Bowl or compete for a Super Bowl and have a winning season, I have to be out there and be out there with my teammates.
Tyler, I'm with him. I like my money. I know you do too. Right? But what do you make of him taking a different approach to wanting a better deal compared to the other guys we just discussed?
Don't you just love it when players are honest, just bluntly honest? Yep, I like my money. I'm not going to practice. I'll show up. I'll wear the uniform. I'll wear whatever. But no, I'm not playing, because you're not taking over what would be over $100,000 if a player is to miss all of minicamp. I know these guys make millions of dollars, but that's a decent chunk of change. That's a nice little vacation in the offseason for some of these guys. So totally respect him showing up and doing those hold-ins, unlike those other guys. But I do wonder where this is ultimately going to go with James Cook. The big storyline for the Buffalo Bills this offseason wasn't necessarily any players that they brought in or saw leave. The clear mission was to retain their core. Obviously, the key among them was signing Josh Allen to an extension. You signed Khalil Shakir, Christian Benford, a bunch of different guys to extensions. The only guy really they haven't signed an extension with was James Cook. So that leads me to wonder, is he in the long-term plans for the Buffalo Bills? There's no denying he's been a productive player, 1,000 yards rushing in each of the last 2 seasons, 16 rushing touchdowns last year. So a super productive player. But if this is someone who's been on social media saying he's looking for around $15 million, well, that's Derrick Henry money in AAV. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills are going to extend themselves that far. And if they can't find a way to meet in the middle, that could ultimately lead to another year in Buffalo, and possibly that's it.
Yeah, and you wonder how that may affect the team, because James Cook, he makes a lot of things easier for Josh Allen as a really reliable running threat. Tyler Sullivan, always appreciate the insight, man. And so here's a look at the odds to win this year's Super Bowl. The Bills are the favorites at +700, followed by, guess who? Kansas City, the Ravens, reigning champs Eagles, and then you have the Lions, Bengals, Rams, and Commanders a little bit further out when it comes to their odds.